Hey, what's up, and welcome to the Nutrition Kitchen, the science behind. I'm with my nutrition guru, Sarah Pak.
Hey, Keon. Well, let's get to it. Pancakes are a classic breakfast item. What tricks did Chef Pollard have up her sleeve for pancakes?
So we have three versions here. We have our level 1 made with pre-made boxed pancake mix and pancake syrup. And level 2, 100% whole grain pancakes with 100% pure maple syrup. And our level 3 here, which is banana oat pancakes and date syrup, both made from scratch. So Sarah, can you tell me about pre-made pancake mix and pancake syrup? What's going on here?
Well, there's a reason it's called a pancake, right? Or a cake in a pan. As always, let's find out what is in the pre-made pancake mix. Then we'll talk about processing.
Let's see. So we have enriched bleached flour, sugar, rice flour, leavening. Should I keep going?
No, you can stop there. The first few ingredients are always the most important because ingredients must be listed in order of their weight. So the ingredient that weighs the most is listed first, then the next heaviest ingredient, and so on. At least until you see contains 2% or less of on the ingredient label. Any ingredients listed after that don't have to be listed in order of weight.
Okay, so since the first two ingredients are enriched flour and sugar, is this just bread with sugar in it?
Basically, yes, but more sugar isn't the only difference between bread and pancakes. Although the first ingredient on the label is enriched flour for both white bread and the pancake mix, the wheat used to make those enriched flours are different. Flour is a generic term for many types of brown wheat. Pancakes use flours or mixtures of flours from wheats that have less protein, which makes the pancake lighter and fluffier than bread.
Okay, so pancakes are just fluffy bread with sugar then.
You're getting really close. There's one other big difference between white bread and pre-made pancake mixes. White bread uses yeast to generate carbon dioxide to help the bread rise, but pancake mixes don't have yeast. Instead, they rapidly generate carbon dioxide through a classic chemical combination of an acid and a base.
I heard chemical. It's been a minute since I've been in chemistry class, sorry.
Okay, let me give you a quick refresher. Bases have extra electrons or negatively charged atoms, and acids are missing electrons. So acids and bases are like a perfect match for each other. In pancake mix, the base ingredient is usually baking soda, and the acid ingredient is usually something like monocalcium phosphate. When baking soda and an acid are mixed together, it's called baking powder. The acid and base will react when they're mixed with a liquid like the wet ingredients in a pancake recipe and create carbon dioxide bubbles. But even if you overstir your pancake mix and all the carbon dioxide bubbles escape, the baking powder is activated again by heat during cooking. So the pancake mix has two chances to rise into those fluffy pancakes we love so much. On the nutrition label, both the base and acid may be included under the word leavening in the ingredient list.
Gotcha. I think I got it. So pancakes are fluffier, chemically carbonated sugar breads.
Yes, that's the essence of a pancake made from pre-made mix, enriched flour with lower protein content, added sugar, and leavening. High in calories, low in nutrients, and highly processed.
Okay, enough said. So what about our pancake syrup?
Well, let's look at the ingredient list again, shall we? What do you see?
Let's see, we got corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup as the first two ingredients. I thought nobody ate high fructose corn syrup anymore, actually.
Well, despite all the no high fructose corn syrup labels, the average American still consumes 36 pounds of high fructose corn syrup every year, and another 16 pounds of other corn-based sweeteners.
Ooh, that's a lot. So now I'm interested. Where does this stuff actually come from?
Well, as their names suggest, both are made from corn. Corn kernels are soaked in water, then milled while wet to separate the starch or endosperm from the bran and germ. It's similar to what happens when wheat is processed. Only with corn, the starchy endosperm is called cornstarch instead of refined flour. After cornstarch is separated from the bran and germ, it's heated in the presence of acids and enzymes, which breaks down the cornstarch into corn syrup.
Okay, and syrup means it's an added sugar, right?
Exactly. But this corn syrup is almost entirely composed of a type of sugar called glucose. And pure glucose tastes much less sweet than table sugar or sucrose. Table sugar actually contains about 50% glucose and 50% fructose, another type of sugar, and fructose is much sweeter.
Okay, so that's glucose, fructose, and sucrose. I feel like I'm sensing a theme here.
Right. If it ends in ose, it's a sugar.
Okay, got it.
Now, since most people want to drizzle something pretty sweet on their pancakes, food manufacturers process corn syrup even further. They add another enzyme that converts the glucose into fructose. The result is a corn syrup with about 90% fructose and 10% glucose.
All right, and that's how you get the name then, high fructose corn syrup, because it's 90% fructose, right?
Sort of, but at that point, it's actually too sweet. So they dilute it with regular corn syrup to activate the perfect mix of fructose and glucose. Most liquid beverages use 55% fructose. Most processed foods use 42% fructose. So high fructose corn syrup has a similar amount of fructose as table sugar.
Okay, so let me see if I got this right. Both corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup are made just from cornstarch.
And cornstarch, by definition, doesn't have the bran or the germ of the intact whole grain corn. So cornstarch is just like refined flour.
Okay, and this cornstarch is broken down into corn syrup, which is an added sugar?
Exactly. High in calories, low in nutrients, heavily processed. But we still eat 52 pounds of these corn-based sweeteners every year.
Ooh, okay, I can't talk about this anymore. We gotta upgrade. So help me level up my pancakes and syrup, please, Sarah.
Absolutely, let me help you out. Let's start with the pre-made pancake mix. Whole grain pancake mix has a whole grain as the first ingredient and no other flours. But remember, not only do we care about what isn't in the food, we also care about what is in it too. You know what the leavening ingredients are by now, but pay attention to what else is being added. Even a level 2 whole grain pancake mix is likely to have a bunch of preservatives and other added ingredients. Whole grain flours contain oils that would normally spoil fairly quickly, so preservatives give it a longer shelf life. Other ingredients are added to compensate for the difference in texture between whole grain flour and traditional pancakes. This one even has a small amount of added sugars. But with banana oat pancakes, you start with ingredient made from 100% whole grains, like oats, so you keep all the beneficial nutrients. Then you process rolled oats in your own home, which means you can avoid all the unnecessary artificial ingredients. You also don't have to grind the oats all the way into flour, so they get digested more slowly, which is beneficial.
Okay, you don't have to sell me on these ones though. Actually, these pancakes were good. What about the pancake syrup alternative?
Pure maple syrup is just maple sap taken directly from maple trees and boiled down into maple syrup. That means it's natural, but it's also highly concentrated. Maple sap is around 98% water and 2% sugar, but maple syrup is usually at least 66% sugar. That's why it's considered an added sugar. So even though it's a natural source of minerals and phytochemicals, you want to be careful of how much you use.
Oh, can I see that? So if it's an added sugar, why can't I see that on the nutrition label?
Great question, Keon. It's an FDA loophole. The FDA requires food manufacturers to list the amount of added sugar on the label, but there are some confusing exceptions to that rule. This is one of those exceptions. The Farm Bill, which passed in 2018, says that single ingredient sugars like honey and maple syrup don't have to show the amount of added sugar in grams on their nutrition labels. But you may see a symbol next to added sugars with a footnote below the nutrition facts that explain the amount of added sugar.
Okay, so that's a little tricky. What about our last upgrade, the date syrup?
Well, since you make the date syrup using entire dates, you get all the beneficial nutrients in dates like vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and even fiber. The dates are ground up, so it's a little more processed, but it's just about the closest thing to a level 3 sweetener that exists. Also, it's a great caramel alternative.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Sarah. It's been very enlightening.
Anytime, Tia.
All right, well, let's gear up for episode 4 where we level up tacos. Let's get out of here.